good morning, everybody. And let me say a couple of notes of appreciation. First of all, to the Prime Minister of Pakistan and to Field Marshal Munir, who were both incredible hosts. And whatever shortcomings in the negotiation, it wasn't because of the Pakistanis, who did an amazing job and really tried to help us and the Iranians bridge the gap and get to a deal. We have been at it now for 21 hours, and we've had a number of substantive discussions with the Iranians. That's the good news. The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement. It's bad news for Iran much more than it's bad news for the United States of America. So, having not come to an agreement, we've made very clear what our red lines are, what things we're willing to accommodate them on, and what. And we've made that as clear as we possibly could, and they have chosen not to accept our terms. Questions?
Sir, Nick Robertson from CNN. Precisely what have they rejected?
Affirmative commitment that they will not seek a nuclear weapon, and they will not seek the tools that would enable them to quickly achieve a nuclear weapon. That is the core goal of the President of the United States, and that's what we've been trying to achieve through these negotiations. Again, their nuclear program, such as it is, the enrichment facilities that they had before, they've been destroyed. But the simple question is, do we see a fundamental commitment of will for the Iranians not to develop a nuclear weapon, not just now, not just 2 years from now, but for the long term? We haven't seen that yet. We hope that we will.
Was there a framework on anything, and also did the Iranian frozen assets come up, and did you reach any conclusions on those frozen assets?
We talked about all those issues, Jen, and we talked about a number of issues beyond that, and so certainly those things came up, but again, we just could not get to a situation where the Iranians were willing to accept our terms. I think that we were quite flexible, we were quite accommodating. The President told us, you need to come here in good faith and make your best effort to get a deal. We did that, and unfortunately, we weren't able to make any headway. Preston.
Hey, Mr. Vice President, how often did you communicate with President Trump throughout the negotiations? There were reports that there were multiple rounds where there were breaks in between negotiations. How often did you communicate with the President throughout those rounds, and what was he saying as you were going through these negotiations that you said fell short?
Yeah, obviously, we were talking to the President consistently. I don't know how many times we talked to him, a half dozen times, a dozen times over the past 21 hours. We obviously also talked to Admiral Cooper, to Pete, to Marco, to the entire national security team. We talked to Scott Bessent a number of times. So look, we were constantly in communication with the team because we were negotiating in good faith. And we leave here with a very simple proposal, a method of understanding that is our final and best offer. We'll see if the Iranians accept it. Thank you.
Mr. Vice President, where
Sir, are we going back to war? Are we going back to war, sir?
Mr. Netanyahu at all today?
What about the Strait of Hormuz?
Did they give you any indication of the Supreme Leader's health?
Wow, a lot of no answers there. We are not aware, really, of anything that just happened in the 17 hours of negotiations. It's very clear that the Vice President was disappointed with how the talks went. I think that there was a lot of hope. Clearly, it's a huge deal for the Vice President of the United States to come all of this way to the other side of the world to sorry, it's very chaotic here, but I'm not in the press pool, so I'm just staying here. Incredibly difficult consultations between the U.S., Pakistan negotiating, and with Iran. 17 hours. The press corps here, we didn't sleep. We maybe got a couple hours of shut-eye. Everyone had so much faith and hope that something might come through. I know the Pakistanis especially. I know that this is going to break their hearts because they put so much work and excitement into bringing peace to the Middle East, and it's just not going to happen today. But you guys, that is an incredibly complex topic. It is something that has been going on for decades and decades, and when you talk about the Middle East, that's thousands of years. Here with the U.S. and Iran, the tensions will continue. The president did not tell us whether or not the war would start back up, but as we know from yesterday, President Trump said that there are Navy ships now in the Strait of Hormuz, or there were yesterday. He has every intention to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. There are a number of ships in the region, possibly minesweepers coming to clear the mines and get that strait back reopened. That was one of the negotiation topics that Iran was demanding. Not only was it the nuclear enrichment that clearly the vice president was most concerned with, but also the Iranians were demanding sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz, which it feels that it has. But the United States and the rest of the world, frankly, sees it as international waters. It's an international shipping lane that 20% would equal a ransom. Pay us a couple $1 million and we won't attack your boat. So lots of difficulties here. It's going to be really interesting to watch as this develops. What happens next? Do the bombs fly again? Theoretically, there's still another week, right, of the ceasefire, but the vice president had no answers for us this evening. He seemed very deflated. He really worked hard. And I'll let you know this thing too. The press here were not told to get hotels overnight. There was no intention to stay any later. He had every intention to make a deal today, and clearly it just wasn't going to happen. So after sunrise, he came and addressed the media, and he had to give the sad news that it just wasn't going to happen today. So I will be here on the ground in Islamabad until I can find a flight out. I'll be reporting from here and trying to bring you the latest on this war that I suppose continues. There is no resolution, and I know that there are a lot of sad and disappointed people right now, but you know what? This is how diplomacy goes. This is how war goes. And we just have to stay focused on the messaging. Don't get distracted by rumors. Keep following along. Thank you guys so much for being here with me for the past 17, 18 hours. It has been really such an honor to be here in Islamabad and reporting for you. So keep in touch. Keep following me at Caitlin Dornbos, and I will be reporting on New York Post, nypost.com. Thank you so much, guys.